Well, one thing I'd like to have on the record right off the bat is that when you called me to confirm that you were going to be able to do this, you gave me one of the most unusual calls I think I've ever had. I picked up the phone and said hello, and you said, "This is FDR." So,
Well, that's because the initials would be that, and I thought you would like a little humor.
yeah,
And,
I'd love to
and
have.
and being as the fact that I personally loved FDR.
Yeah.
And I even served some Army time with him when he was traveling the United States from Washington, D.C. down south. I was one of the guards.
Wow.
So,
Well, let's get into detail on that in a minute. First of all, let's start off. Give us your full name, please.
Frank David Robeton,
And when were you born?
February the 8th, 1921.
Okay. And what was your rank at discharge?
PFC, Private First Class,
Private First Class, United States Army,
United States Army.
World War II. Well, this is NVHA 010003. We're filming on August the 27th of 2001 at the Anderson Public Library. Well, let's go back a couple of years. Tell me about the day you were born. First of all, where were you born?
Well, I was born on Madison Avenue, which was known as Hazelwood in those days, and it's still more or less Hazelwood, but things have completely changed tremendously since then. In fact, the house that I was born in doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, you were born here in Anderson,
Yeah,
Indiana?
I was here in Anderson, and I was born in the house.
In the
was
house.
not hospital, but born in the house.
Were there very many people who were born in hospitals then, or was it
No,
the largest percentage?
actually, a lot of them were born at home.
Okay.
The doctors used to, in those days, make house calls, which I don't think they hardly do at all here now, but they did then.
Not too much.
Yeah.
I can remember maybe one when I was very young. And that's the last house call I
Yeah, well, it shows you time has changed things.
Well, I assume your mother was there. So tell me a little something about your mother.
Well, she was born in Poland. She came over to this country in sometime in 17 or 18 or something like that. And she met my dad in Marion, Indiana. And my dad came from Russia, Ukraine.
Okay.
So, see, there was quite a difference there.
What was her name?
Her name was Nellie.
Nellie.
Nellie Robeton.
And what was her maiden name?
Well, now that I can't tell you because I've only seen it once
Okay.
when I was younger. And when I came back from service, a lot of this old stuff that was there wasn't there anymore. Just like I had a bunch of old pennies, Indian head pennies that I was saving before I went to service. When I came back, they were gone. I don't know, I guess my oldest brother, I think, says, well, he's not going to come back, so I'll just spend it.
Well, do you know why she came from Poland to America?
Yeah, to get away from the torment and the starvation. It was really rough, really rough.
And how did she get to America?
From the boats.
From steamship?
In other words, they had a lot of these, what shall I say, some sort of a group from the United States would go over there and help them escape.
I see. Was she very young when she came?
Yeah, I think she was 17 years old.
I see. Okay.
So,
how'd she wind up in Anderson?
well, she wound up in Anderson, both of them did, when he got a job at American Wire and Steel here in town.
I see.
And he had worked there until the Depression hit. When the Depression hit, then there was no work, and they shut the place down, and he went looking for work, and he finally ended up bartending at Eagles Lodge here in town. And he did that for quite a few years until he retired.
What was your mother like personality-wise?
Very sweet, charming person, and very helpful. She's always trying to do something for you.
I see. Okay, well, about your dad, what was his name?
Michael Robeton. Well, of course, now his name wasn't Robeton. This Robeton is all a change and made up. Their names were so confusing. If I don't know them, you'd want this information, I'd have probably looked it up somewhere. But of course, that to me, that's all in the past. There's been so many changes. They didn't like their name. That's why they changed it to the way it is. So.
I know a lot of people from other places change their name to make it easier for the people here to pronounce. And
The names sound like, no, this is just, I'm saying just sound like what it was. The Robeton.
Okay.
See?
Right.
But it's Robeton now, just Robeton.
Do you know why he came from the Ukraine?
Well, it's the same thing. Get away from the heartaches and the starvation. It was really rough.
Okay.
And of course, any information they got about the United States, this is what they wanted. See, they wanted a better life, and this is the reason they left there and got on these boats, come to the United States.
Did they ever express that this was a better life? And
Oh yes, yes, definitely, yeah.
they really knew
Otherwise,
the
they'd probably not stayed. Yeah, better.
value?
Any place in the United States is better than, to me, any place in the world. As far as that
A
goes.
lot of people don't realize that. People who are
Well,
born
they don't
here.
realize it because sometimes they don't go through a lot of this hardship and heartaches, and they don't realize that actually they're well off, actually, in comparison to so many people.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
heartbreaking.
Well, tell me about your dad. What kind of a fellow was he? Was he a big guy?
Yeah, he was big. He was, I'd say, 5 feet 10 inches, and big husky man. Yeah.
What kind of personality did he have?
Well, he was one of these that you couldn't just push aside or anything. I mean, he was tough. I mean, he was a strong, of course, working in the steel mill he did there for so many years. It made him a big, strong person. And he never took any sassiness from other people or anything. He was just that type. He could take care of himself.
Right. Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
Well, I had 2 brothers.
Okay.
One's named Pete, and the other one was named Yonk.
Okay.
And they're both passed away.
Okay. Where did they wind up in? Did they stay in this area? Or?
Yeah, they stayed in this area, yeah, the whole time, yeah,
Okay.
till they passed away.
Have any good family stories from those days, or anything you can recall?
Well, a lot of things happened. I don't know. I can't pinpoint just anything right now.
Okay.
Did you guys get along together real well, or was a lot of fighting?
Well, there wasn't a lot of fighting, but there was conflict because of their upbringing, which was different than what I was being trained and what took place in the schools here in the United States. Yeah, there was differences, definitely, but at least they were honest, helpful parents.
I mean, between you and your brothers, did you guys get
Oh.
along okay?
I only remember one time that my oldest brother got in an argument with me in a restaurant, and he swung at me, and he missed me, and I swung at him and hit him in the nose, and he didn't like that one bit, but it stopped it right there. So, I mean, after all, in a family, especially with boys, you're going to have some
Oh, sure.
uproars and
Sure.
things. 'Cause everybody has different ideas.
What kind of things did you do as a family?
Well, mainly picnics, and we had our own garden and raised our own chicken and so forth. Of course, that was during Depression. A lot of that was during Depression, and things were really tough. I mean, tough. We had people, men, at night come into our yard, and I remember it very clearly, trying to steal our chickens because they were hungry and they needed something to eat.
Now, did your parents consider going through the Depression rough compared to where they came from, or was that like, that wasn't too bad?
No,
compared to
no,
where they
actually,
come through?
No, they've seen worse things
Sure.
when they were in Poland and Ukraine. They've seen, you know this from facts, from stories and everything, that things over there are really rough. Even during the Second World War, it's terrible, terrible what took place. And that bothered me a lot because I realized here, somewhere there was probably still family, which I never met or anything, and yet the Germans were killing them terribly.
They probably tried to speak English so they could assimilate into this country, but did you pick up on any of the Ukrainian language or Polish
Very
language?
little, very little.
Was that-
Actually, my concern was, and their concern was, speak English.
Okay.
Because here they didn't want me to keep talking about trying to learn their language when I ought to be learning the English language. And at that time, I think I was a little slow in trying to get it up here.
So when the language that was spoken around the home was English?
Yeah, it was English.
Really emphasized.
Once in a while, I could hear them, they talk back and forth in their language.
Right.
They understood each of their language, so it turned out all right.
Did you have any friends in the neighborhood? Or what kind of a situation? Was it sort of like a farm with some space between houses, or were there several houses
Well,
together?
it was just several houses around, and there was extra spots where you could raise corn or whatever, which we did. But it wasn't, the houses weren't, crowded real close together like they are today. But it was spotted here and there. And you had different nationalities of people around there too, which we got to know. I mean, people that came from the old country too. There were a lot of them there.
Did you have friends outside of the home?
Well, that was, yeah, some of these. One of them, especially that I knew of, was Rudolph's and also Beginski's.
Okay.
See, they come from the old country too, and it just made more or less a bunch of friends.
What kind of things did you do just for fun when you were a kid? Get together and play baseball, or?
No, nothing like that. Bicycle mainly.
Yeah.
Used the bicycle a lot and did an awful lot of walking. We didn't have no car or a horse or anything like that. I did a lot of walking. And a lot of my walking when I went to school was quite a distance.
Okay. How
From
far?
Hazelwood, clear to St. Mary's,
Hmm.
that would be quite a walk, and I used to do it. In those days, too, in the Depression, didn't have the money for the buses, so forth. So if you see a slim, skinny guy here, it's because I've been wearing it off all these years.
Yeah, you've, it wound up being a real benefit to you overall because,
Well, actually, yeah, physically, it helped.
Did you have to work as a child any, or? you had
Only
jobs?
cutting grass. One thing I did an awful lot was cut grass for a lot of elderly people, especially women who lost their husbands and didn't have anybody. I'd go out there and cut their grass for 5 cents.
Okay.
5 cents went someplace in those days too.
Yeah, my kid gets $25 a yard now. It's ridiculous.
That's your inflation.
Yeah.
so where did you do your shopping?
Well, there was a little store 2 blocks from us. It used to be an old store, and that's about as close as we got to do any shopping is there at the store.
Did you ever make trips downtown for anything special?
Well, later on in years, but not when I was real little, other than walking to St. Mary's.
Right.
But otherwise, it was till later years before I started going uptown.
Okay.
Were there a lot of little stores kind of spaced
Yeah.
out all over instead of?
Yeah, there
big
was a lot of
markets?
little stores, yeah.
Gotcha.
What they call neighborhood stores,
Right.
yeah.
So you went to St. Mary's.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, and I pulled out when I couldn't stand it anymore. Remember I was telling you in the car that the way they treated me, like I was somebody from outer space or something. They didn't like me. I'm misplaced. In other words, they belong here, but I don't.
Because
Of my background of being foreign.
even though you were born here,
Yeah, even though I was born here.
they still held that. So where did you go from St. Mary's?
And I went to public school, Hazelwood.
Okay.
Hazelwood, which was there for years, and then from there, of course, when I graduated from there, I went to they had a junior high there on Main Street, which don't exist there anymore.
Okay.
And then when I finished that, then I went to Anderson High School.
Okay. How were you treated in the other schools, in the public schools?
Well, better.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem.
Okay.
It's one of those things in life.
Yeah. What kind of things did you start hearing about as far as world events? As you know, at a certain point in your life, you begin to realize there's a big world around you, and there are national and international things happening. What were some of the things you became aware of when you started becoming aware of that sort of thing? What did your parents talk about, or maybe the
Well,
adults?
mainly the freedom of being here and still saying to us that they're still tied down there in their country. They were so glad that they could leave, which so many did not have that opportunity to leave.
So the Great Depression was pretty hard, but it was definitely
It was hard, but
better than what had.
like I say, had our own garden, raised our own chickens, so we had the food. But eventually, things got real rough when my dad couldn't find any more work or anything, and we lost the house that he was trying to buy. Of course, he couldn't get the money, so he was losing that steel job. That paid pretty good, and they lost the house, and then we had to jump from one house to the next for a while.
It had to be hard.
It was stressful.
Yes.
A lot of people back then moved in with relatives and,
Yeah.
and things like that, didn't they? You probably didn't have.
We
anybody
didn't have
to-
any relatives, we just did what we had to do.
When did you first, Well, first of all, what did you think of Herbert Hoover going through the Great Depression?
Well, at first, I thought he was doing a good job. But then later on in years, and I hear all this other stuff that never was released, I thought, well, you hear part of it and you don't hear the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it was, I would say, even off and on.
So when Roosevelt and Hoover ran against each other in that
Roosevelt
first
was my choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason or another, to me, felt like he had more of a heart, which I think he did.
He certainly must have been pretty popular to be elected as many times as he was.
Yeah, yeah, and the way he did things, especially during the war, I mean, he really concentrated on helping the GI and so forth. He didn't ignore things,
Okay.
so it was a big help.
When did you first become aware that the world was coming together for war, that you knew that trouble was brewing, that there probably would be a major war and that we might get involved?
Well, I knew or felt, and I couldn't understand why the rest of the country, like United States and the rest, couldn't see that what Germany was doing. Some way they should have known he was building up a tremendous armed forces. Tremendous. And how can you keep all that quiet? They must have just felt like, well, just leave him alone, he's not going to do anything. That was my feeling. It probably felt like, well, sure, they're building it up, but will they actually be stupid enough to go ahead and try to take the world over? Well, Hitler was stupid enough.
It sounds like pretty early on you realized that this guy was trouble.
Yeah.
I know he had a lot of people hoodwinked.
Well, for one thing, maybe it's my own expression or feelings, looking at the person, I got a very strong feeling, this guy is crazy.
What about Mussolini? Did you have that same feeling?
Yeah, he's crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Hitler are both the same.
Now, Japan had been invading China, and there was a bit of an uproar over that. Were you as aware of that as you were of the situation in Europe? Or was that kind of
No,
low-key?
that was more quiet. Things were more concentrated on the European situation than China.
Were you surprised that they attacked us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very much surprised.
Yeah.
No one else would think any other than, to me, that was a very cowardly thing to do, to strike someone like that all at once and no warning.
Now, you were a junior or senior in high school, and you probably had some idea of what you wanted to do with your life at that point. What were your ambitions at that time?
Be a printer.
Be a printer.
I took printing in high school,
Okay.
and that's why I ended up being a printer at Warner Press. Well, which was Gospel Trumpet Company to begin with,
Right.
in the old days, and then up Warner Press.
I remember the sign on the side of the building, Gospel Trumpet, but
Yeah.
that a few years
And
ago.
I'll tell you, in comparison, what it looks like today to what it was then, tremendous difference, tremendous. You didn't have air conditioning then, all that hot metal to make the type and everything, it was so hot in there,
I bet. I bet.
you still feel it.
So you graduated high school, and where'd you go from there?
Well, I went to Warner Press.
You
In
did
other
go
words,
into Gospel
I
Trumpet?
went from in June when I graduated to August. I put application in many different places to try to find a job and so forth, and nothing turned up. And so one day it come to me just like this: call the printing teacher and see if he knows of any place that has an opening. And sure enough, I called him and he says, yeah, he says, you go out to Gospel Trumpet. They're looking for a devil, printer's devil. That's what they used to call them when they first were printers. When you're trying to learn it, is you're a devil, printer's devil. And sure enough, yeah, they wanted me there if I wanted to work. So I went out there, and sure enough, they hired me.
That's pretty sharp for a kid that age to think of that.
It just seemed like all at once just something told me to do it. And actually, in my lifetime, I feel that this has happened a lot, that the good Lord has been talking to me, and I am a deeply religious man. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe that there is a better place for all of us if we make the right choice.
He seems to know what he's doing, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
Well, how old were you at this time?
Well, I was 18.
About 18. And what year was this? What year did you graduate high school?
1940.
1940.
And then I worked at the Gospel Trumpet for 2 years until 1942, and then Uncle Sam called me, and so then I went to service for 3 years.
Okay. So, where were you when you heard about the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor?
In my house at 2407 Cedar Street. Had it on one evening and heard it, and oh man, it was very saddening. Saddening, and made me mad.
Yeah.
Made me mad. I said, boy, that is terrible. And it's terrible to do things like that.
Yeah. It was very sad for the fellows who were there.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't
No
realize how many
choice.
were killed. And
Yeah, you just all at once, you're there and you're gone.
so all of a sudden, boom, we're in a war.
Yeah.
You probably knew that you would be drafted at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I had to go up and sign up at the armory, sign up for it, and sure enough, I was drafted in July 1942.
1942. Was it a scary thing, scary proposition for you?
Definitely, yes. I was very heartbroken, to tell you the truth. Because I just surely didn't want to leave home. I didn't want to go to war.
Yeah.
Well, what else was there to do?
Right.
That's
Did
the way it was.
Did your parents know what it meant?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they definitely knew, because they knew what went on there in their old country. I mean, there was unsettlement in the old country back in those days too, see. Even before the Second World War, they had their big problems.
Do you remember your mom's reaction when she heard that Hitler was invading Poland, her home country?
She cried,
I bet.
because then she knew that me or my two brothers might go to service. Of course, my two brothers medically weren't strong enough. They had some faults that they didn't take them.
Maybe one of those times when all that walking may have worked against you, but that's the way it works out.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
So, you got your notification from the president. Probably went down to the physical center to...
Yeah, I went to the armory and got a physical, and then I passed. So it was a couple days, and zoom to Fort Benjamin Harrison.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah,
That's pretty quick.
yeah.
So tell me about when you shipped out, when you left home to go to the Army.
Well, we shipped out from New York.
Well, I mean, when you went to Fort Benjamin Harrison, I mean, there must have been some point at which you said goodbye to your family and your friends. And
There was one time that I had to leave. I think it was only about 2 days to come home and tell them that I was leaving. So it was, as I recall, it was about 2 days that I came home and told them what was happening, that I had to leave and go overseas.
Was it a tough goodbye, or?
Very tough, very sad.
Well,
If you have love for anyone, you're naturally going to have deep feelings.
sounds like your family was very close.
Well, they were close, and they were religious, and they, like I say, they were Catholics.
Right.
My mother and my father both were Catholics, even before they came over here. See, they were Catholics over there.
So you went off to Fort Benjamin Harrison. What was that being used for at that time?
Just training to be a soldier.
Okay.
And
So you got your basic training
did
at,
a basic training there, and not a whole lot. Got some, but not a whole lot.
right,
Just like a small bunch. And then we were shipped out to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where the big training was, Fort Bragg. So there's where I got most of my training, and there is where I left from there to go overseas. In other words,
Wow.
from there to New York and past the big Statue of Liberty.
so at Fort Benjamin Harrison is where you got your uniform and
Oh, yeah,
your shots
yeah,
and
yeah,
and all that.
just to begin with, yeah.
Tell me about the process of going through the line and getting your shots and getting your uniform and everything.
Well, a lot of the shots didn't seem to bother me too much, but it seemed like the clothes they gave me didn't seem to fit me. They were either too daggone long, the pants or so forth, or too short. And I guess I must have been a misfit, and they didn't have the right size.
Did they shave your head?
Yeah. Yeah, they shaved my head. Yeah, that's one of the first things they do, is shave you bald. Yeah.
Pretty scary for a young kid, or?
Well, yeah, I never experienced anything like that, and I thought, well, why are they taking my hair?
Yeah. So tell me about Fort Bragg.
Well, that was quite a place, I'll tell you. That's where the Air Force had their training thing there too. And we, a lot of times would go on maneuvers with them. They would act like the enemy, and we'd try to, in other words, it's training out in the field. And there was a lot of forest out there where we could really put on acts.
What was your unit there?
194th Field Artillery Battalion.
And what was your job?
My job was to lay wire, combat communication wire. In those days, you didn't have all this new equipment you got. It was done by telephone. We had to lay telephone wire from the gun position to the front line, and make sure you keep it up. In other words, every once in a while, if a shell comes in, blows the line, you got to go out there and fix it, which we did a lot. And I recall a lot of times tapping in on some lines that were laying along there. They were German lines. And I took their clip out and cut the daggone line. Yeah.
Do you think they did that to our lines also?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh. You had to be sort of sneaky. You really do to survive in a condition like that. You would have to be sneaky and be very careful. And one other thing I experienced a lot too was being able to dig a lot of foxholes, because every time you had to move from one place to another, you dug a hole, otherwise you wouldn't be around.
Mm.
And I recall one time there in Cassino in Italy, we had our big hole, and during the night a big shell came in. It didn't land right on us. It landed about, I'd say, 25 feet away from us, and blew a big hole in the ground the size of a daggone garage.
Wow.
Now, if that thing would have been a little bit more this way, it'd have gotten us. It's just like things like that. You have to dig in, otherwise you'd never make it. Actually, it was pure hell.
You remember your instructor, your drill instructor at Fort Bragg?
Yeah. Yeah. All good men.
Do you remember
All
his
of
name?
I. It's been a while.
That's
Sure
okay.
that-
It's been a while.
So what was it like?
You mean Fort Bragg?
What were the drill instructors like at Fort Bragg?
Oh, they were very strict and downright down to earth. They wanted you to come back. They didn't want the enemy to die. Like Patton says, you kill them, don't let them kill you.
Yeah.
See, I was in Patton's Third Army. And I know he was tough. but-
Could you see that at the time you were going through the basic training? Could you see it? This guy was trying to make me tough so he can save my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. Get rid of that, your enemy, not you. Don't let them get rid of you.
What's the toughest part about basic training?
Well, the exercise and things a lot. If you're not used to a lot of it, which I wasn't, it was very strict and time consuming. Yeah, a lot of this ups and downs.
When you were at Fort Bragg, what other units were there? Was the 82nd there? and
The
Special
82nd
Forces?
Special
Special Forces?
Yeah, that what was there, 82nd Airborne, and they had Able Company, Baker Company, and Charlie Company there too, which made quite a few men.
That's what was there when I was there too.
Were you there, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Air Force has been there a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even at one time, they let us, as soldiers, take a mock jump from their parachute. Of course, it was just a small thing, it wasn't way up there, it was just,
Right.
just a raft up here, and we jumped off, just like you were going, maybe had to do it sometime.
Did that make you want to join the airborne unit?
No, definitely not.
Okay. So now you're shipping out. You say you went out through New York City?
Yeah, and headed south, down towards South America, in order to stay away from the German subs that were more north. And we got down south far enough, and we start headed towards Africa.
Okay.
And that's where I landed, was in North Africa.
Well, what do you think of New York City?
Well, I thought it looked real good. Being as I never saw it before, I thought it looked real good. And I'd rather have stayed there, but
So you went to South America.
down that way in order to stay away from, they were fearful of the German subs more north. And that's the reason why they went that way. And we had two big battleships alongside of us to make sure
Oh.
we got down there.
Do you remember the names of the battleships?
No.
Okay. What kind of a ship did you go over on?
Well, it was a big transport,
Okay.
and it was so crowded of soldiers and sailors that when you went to eat your breakfast, it took you until noon to get it. No kidding. It was so crowded, and when you finally got it, and with the boat going up and down like this, I finally made it up to the guardrail, brought it all out. I couldn't hold it.
So you,
And I wasn't the only one. It was just too rough.
you didn't want to be a sailor after that, I take it.
No sailor, I wanted to go home, but I couldn't.
I'm gonna change tape.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so from South America, you headed over to where? Where did you wind up landing?
North Africa at, oh, come on. Don't tell me, but at my age, I've forgotten already.
know there was El Alamein.
No.
I can't remember the country.
That's what I'm trying, oh, Tunisia.
Tunisia.
Yeah, that's where we landed.
Okay.
We landed at Tunisia and then moved across North Africa this way so that we'd be closer to Italy.
Okay.
Because, of course, took some time. It wasn't done just overnight because they were still fighting there in North Africa. And Patton had charge of the 8th Army in North Africa at that time, and we were attached to him at that time, temporarily. And then after all of Africa was taken, then we went across from North Africa to Italy and joined General Clark's army. So when we landed in Italy at night at Naples, and we had one heck of a time in Naples and casino there, trying to take the Germans away from that Mount Casino that the Air Force finally come over and bombed the heck out of it. It destroyed it, but the Germans were dug so deep down in that they were still there and still was tied up. And so eventually what happened, they pulled my outfit and a lot of the others out, and we went one night to Anzio.
Okay, well, hold on. Did you do any fighting in North Africa?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were involved in some of that?
And I was going to tell you about that, that North Africa thing. One thing that, to me, it carried me through all this, was I was on guard duty one night, and it was raining pretty good. And I was on guard duty, and all at once I looked across the Mediterranean thing or towards Italy. What the heck? That's impossible. It was a rainbow, a big rainbow.
Yeah.
And I thought, how could that be as dark as it is? And it was. And to this day, and I've never forgotten it, and to this day I felt that was an omen, that was going to watch over me and see me through this. Sure enough, when you consider what we went through, Anzio, and that was one hell of a place. That was terrible. One night, the Germans came over and bombed the heck out of us, and artillery is so bad that we had to put gas masks on because we thought it was gas. It was so much smoke and everything in it, we thought we were being gassed.
Did you say that the landing at Naples was pretty tough?
Yeah, Naples was tough. The Germans were just solid. I mean, what was surprising was that the Germans had so many men.
Do you remember any of the units that you were fighting against for the Germans?
No, we didn't consider, even think about who we were fighting. To us, it was the Nazis, the Germans.
Right.
Who they were or where they come from,
Yeah.
no, we didn't give that any thought.
And you were still part of the 197th, you said? Were you still part of that?
Oh, 194.
194.
194, yeah.
You were still
Yeah,
part
it's
of
still,
that?
yeah, we
If
still.
you change units, would you mention that also? 'Cause that
Well,
would
I
be a
didn't
point.
change any units. We still
Okay.
stayed right with that, even until the war ended. We
Oh, I see.
stayed with that.
Good.
But after we had such a rough time there at Anzio, and then we finally did break through and entered into Rome. And that was quite a sight to see all that cathedral and everything in there. Oh man, it was something. And of course they had a parade too. There was a parade of our soldiers, and there was a bunch of Arab soldiers that were fighting with us. They were in the parade too, which surprised me. I didn't realize that they were fighting with us, and yet here they were on our side too.
It must have been quite a show.
It was quite a, and then after we left Rome one night, we left back, went to Naples, and this was just before the big push there at Normandy Beachhead. Our outfit, took a boat from Naples to Marseille, France, and it landed there at night and joined Patton's Third Army right there.
Well, okay, from Naples you went to Casino, or Casino.
Well, Naples, Casino is part of Naples.
Oh, okay, I didn't
Casino,
realize.
yeah, the casino, that's what they call it.
And you were there for quite a while, weren't you?
Yeah, quite a while, yeah.
Did
It wasn't an overnight thing.
I know there wasn't any rear area at Anzio. Was it the same situation at Naples?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was-
in other words, like I said, on that cathedral that they had there on the mountain, Mount Casino, our planes bombed the heck out of it. I mean, really bombed it. But the Germans were dug in so deep, and the thing was built so strong that they came out. The Germans came out, and still we couldn't get it. Couldn't get it because they were fortified in there.
Was there any kind of a big breakthrough that allowed you to take them, or just real tough fighting?
Not until they're at Anzio. When we broke that, then this opened up down there.
I see. Okay.
They,
So Anzio, how did you get into Anzio? Did you land from the
boat,
sea?
From
Or?
the boat, yeah, sea,
Okay.
yeah. From Naples. And like I say, this was a night job. We did it at night.
And did they open up on you right away? Did they?
No, right away they did not open up, but when they knew something was coming, then finally. And actually, I think, well, maybe not as, Anzio was one of the most worst, terrible
Yeah.
fire and everything else that anyone could ever see. It was the whole sky and everything just lit up. You've seen fireworks here in town and so forth. It's nothing compared when the whole sky all over is just red and just noise. Terrible.
What do you think when you see fireworks? Does that remind you of the war?
Yes, it does, and I don't. A lot of times I don't get near it, or don't want to be on account of the noise too. It bothers me to this day.
Now, Ernie Pyle was at Anzio. In fact, he was almost killed at Anzio when a German shell hit his hotel room. And he said it was just constant shelling,
Oh yeah.
and there were just no rear area whatsoever.
Well, you remember the guy that played on Gunsmoke?
Yeah? James
He was
Arness?
wounded. Yeah, he was wounded there.
Oh, okay.
He was wounded. I was surprised he was there, and Doe was there. We didn't ever meet, but it shows you there's quite a few different characters.
Did you ever get close to fellas that you were fighting with, or?
Oh yeah, we were real close. Yeah, each one of us looking after the other, watching your back or my back.
Did you lose any friends while you
Oh
were there?
yeah. In fact, one time, I don't recall exactly now just where it was, but we lost some friends when one of the shells in the gun exploded inside the darn thing and hurt quite a few of the men that were operating the gun. So it doesn't have to be an enemy, just your own stuff can explode.
That's right. So were you still laying communication wire?
Until the end of the,
Yeah.
that, and I worked on keyboard too occasionally, and Of course, I had this telephone thing I carried with me, and of course, every time we had to lay some lines, we laid it and checked it out, make sure it was open back to the gunnery, to the officer up here at front here who directs all the fire and everything. I can remember one time we zeroed in on a German tank, fired one shot and hit the darn tank the first time.
Wow.
Which is unusual, very unusual.
That's pretty.
So we had some pretty lucky times. Very lucky times.
Were you aware that Ernie Pyle was there?
Oh yeah, the story, there's always was rumors and stories going around.
Did
Oh
they?
yeah.
What'd you fellows think of him?
Well, I thought that was pretty good, him coming over there to risk his own life just to get the story back to the folks back home.
Did the other journalists do the same thing, or?
Well, I presume they did, yeah. Only Ernie seemed to stand out more for some reason, maybe because maybe he was a little more talkative, I don't know.
You say that shell went off, was that at Anzio, where it dug that crater the size of a garage?
Well, no, that crater was there at Casino. But in Anzio, it was, well, there was so much going on, so much. It's just like sometimes it's like a dream. You think it's something happening, and it was just too much.
Your unit was probably moving all the time. Did you stay,
Moving,
stay
yeah.
tense?
In other words, well, just like when we were in Patton's army, and remember the Battle of the Bulge, when the Germans was making that second big, well, they had us pull out. We had to pull out. We were close to it, but we had to pull out one night because they were so many of them coming, and we felt like it would be safer to get back and then hit them another time, which we did another time.
How'd you finally break them at Anzio? What was the breakthrough for that?
Well, the breakthrough was we were sending in more men than we had before, and also more paratroopers.
So did you come from behind the enemy and sort of trap them together? Or?
Yeah, in other words, you can swing around.
Okay.
You can swing around and get them holed up here.
So after you broke Anzio, you went on to Rome, and
Took Rome, yeah.
now, did you pretty much just walk into Rome, or was there
We
a
walked
fight?
in, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Well, yeah, I was surprised. I thought, well, boy, all this time, this, and all at once, boy, they gave up. See, the Germans gave up because they were surrounded, and what else could they do?
What did you think of Rome when you saw it?
Well, I thought it was pretty nice, being as I was raised as a Catholic to begin with, and I thought, well, that's nice. Here I can see where it more or less all started.
So did the Germans actually surrender, or did they just retreat back out of Italy?
Well, a lot of them surrendered.
Did they? Okay.
Well, of course, the ones that could escape, I presume they did, because you can't tell for sure here or there whether a bunch of escaping from it. I mean, in other words, if you have eyes in the back of your head, you probably could see what's going on, but you don't see what's up.
So it wasn't a controlled thing where they decided, okay, load everything up, or
No, that's one thing they didn't do.
They just ran.
Yeah, they took off. They didn't. They could have blown up the casino. I mean, the church and everything there. No, they didn't.
Did the Pope show up to when the troops came through? Did he? come
Well,
out to
if he
greet them,
did,
or-
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
No, I didn't see him.
I just wondered.
No,
So,
there was so much going on that.
was Mussolini still alive at this time?
I don't think he was. I think he was shot before the. I think he was shot before, I better not say one way or another, because I'm not real sure. It just seems to me, I just feel like he was done away with.
What year were you there for the documentary? Do you know what the month was, the day and the year that you went into Rome?
Well, let's see, it'd be 44, I think.
Okay.
44.
Sounds like some pretty tough fighting.
Yeah, there's a lot of things up here I'd like to probably remember, and I can't.
Well, you'll think of a
And of
dozen
course, at
things
my
afterwards.
age too, I'm not all here like I used to be. The computer up there is a little fuzzy. I must admit that because it's truthful. I don't have the memory that I used to have.
Did you get to see any of the other sites in Italy while you were there, or was it just pretty much
Well,
down to
I did
business?
see, I didn't tell you, but yeah, when we took Rome, so forth, and we went up a little bit past Rome, north, we could see in the distance the mount, the tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh.
could see it in the distance. I didn't
Okay.
get there, but I could see it in the distance leaning.
Wow. Those are-
And also, we all could see partially of Florence,
Okay.
Florence there in Italy.
Would you like to go back to Italy someday?
I've always thought it would be nice to be able to go back, but not my condition right now. For one thing, I can't go on an airplane because I've had eye surgery,
Oh.
detached retina and so forth, and doctor says never go on a plane, otherwise it'll destroy your eyesight. So,
Did anybody in the Italian campaign, anybody stand out as being someone who was particularly heroic, or anybody that you knew?
you mean in my outfit?
Yeah. Can you think of anybody that said he was really special? Or?
Well, I don't know whether to bring this out or not. Maybe me.
Yeah.
For one thing, I was awarded the Bronze Star,
Oh.
and I was so very much surprised when they did it. Not only was I surprised, but some of the characters around me says, "How come?"
Well, okay. How come?
Well, that's what I was asking the captain at the time. And he says, "Well," he said, "because you did distinguished service." And I'll admit, I did the best I could. And I did things that would have helped others too. I mean, as far as digging these holes and everything, and laying these wires for communication, which was a dangerous thing with all the landmines and so forth. And this is why I'm saying this, seeing this rainbow to this day, I feel was an omen that someone was watching over me. And I feel to this day, considering the things that I've been going through, there is a great man upstairs.
Did you have less fear of dangerous situations because of that?
That is true.
Okay.
That is true. I did not have the fear that I thought I would have. Just like there's times like during casino, I was laying wire during the night and was very tired and didn't want to get up to go eat. The soup kitchen was open. They opened it up and says, "Come on, you gotta get something to eat." And I said, "No, I'm too tired. I'm just going to sleep." And it wasn't too long after that the German shells came in and hit the kitchen.
Oh my.
And
Oh
here
my.
I didn't go, see? I didn't go.
Wow.
So it was I just felt like, and to this day, I feel like the good Lord was watching over me.
Well, we're not going to argue that.
Well, I
think that's true.
firmly believe this, and to this day.
Do you
And as you
remember-
see in this whole idea too, Don, is my being able to go work at the Gospel Trumpet Company and Warner Press for God. You're working for the good Lord. And here I did that for 55 years and 4 months.
Do you think the war?
Not 55, 53 years and 4 months.
You think the war made you feel more that way?
Yeah,
It just, I really want to.
make more trying to be better. And to this day, I know that I cannot stand alone. I need the Lord's help, as we all do. And that's who I give the credit.
That's a great witness, Frank.
Do you remember the name of the captain that awarded you the Bronze Star?
Captain Waller Miller.
Do you remember any of the officers that were over your unit at the time you were in?
Well, we had one officer that was a minister before he went into service, but I forget what his name is. Yeah, like I say, my memory isn't
That's fine.
as sharp as it was.
Yeah, we're just trying to get.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sorry that it isn't all coming out. I'd like probably so much. There is a lot, you know, if you had a camera at that time to take all this stuff that went on, but just only pieces seemed to fit in.
Did you have any close calls while you were laying wire?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. I remember one time laying wire and a big tank came in and was moving around like this, and all at once it hit the landmine.
Ooh. One of theirs or one of yours?
You just, you never know. I mean, it could just happen anywhere, and it did. It just, that's why to this day it's amazing that here I was walking around all this place, all this, and didn't step on a mine.
So tell me about General Clark. What was your opinion of General Clark?
Well, he wasn't as good as Patton. He was sort of a slow-moving general. He was all right, but he for some reason he didn't seem to move very neatly like Patton. Patton seemed to, nobody's gonna get in my way. Look out, I'm coming through. That was the way Patton was. I would like to tell you one thing about, before I finish here.
Sure.
After the war, we marched for Patton, my outfit and several others. And we start the march to go past him, and we all mumbled to ourselves, "Get out of step, get out of step." And we did. We walked through there, past him like he says, "Uh-oh." Says, "I've got all day. If you don't want to march the way you're supposed to, keep it up." So the next time around, we walked the way we're supposed to.
Well, what do you think of the man when you saw him? Was he a very proud, imposing figure? Or?
Well, yeah, he was very determined. His face was a determined, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that's the way he was. Yeah.
So you went from Italy to France, and then from France,
To Germany.
you know,
Ended up in Oberammergau.
over America.
That's the home of what they, at that time, what they called the home of the Passion Play.
Okay.
If you ever heard of it.
Yes, I have.
Oberammergau. That's where the war ended for us.
What kind of battles did you fight along the way through France? Where were some of the places
a
you
lot
fought?
of it was shelling.
Yeah.
Shelling and machine gun fire. But that's why I was saying, dig that hole. Every time you had to move, dig a hole.
Yeah.
I don't know how many
So
holes
you
I've
were
dug.
assigned to an artillery unit, right?
Yeah.
So you were slugging it out with their
Oh,
artillery.
yeah,
fire.
yeah. Well, it's not only their artillery, but also when you get up there on the line there with your communication and your telephone, you're looking for the enemy soldier too, see, to direct fire, and so, it was,
You were considered an advanced scout then?
yeah.
Because you were out in front of the whole lot.
Yeah. And that's why to this day, to me, more or less, it's amazing, and I'm sitting here talking to you gentlemen.
So where were some of the places you fought in? You fought in France, did you fight in Belgium?
No,
No?
no, this
Okay.
is France. We got real close to Switzerland, though. We could see the Switzerland Alps and so forth.
And then
We were just moved around more or less when we, in France there, southern France, and when got so far up here and then started making a turn here and cutting the Nazi soldiers off between Italy and Germany. In other words, the
Okay.
Bremer Pass.
Okay.
You ever heard of the Bremer
Yes.
Pass?
Yes.
Well, that Bremer Pass was the one that Hitler and Mussolini used a lot when they went to talk to each other.
Did the fighting get tougher or easier as you went toward Germany?
Well, I would say it was getting softer.
Okay. So you really hit the worst of it in Italy.
Italy and France, and the Germans just, when you get too close to them like that, when we crossed the Rhine River, that one big city, I forget what the name was, we crossed the Rhine River at night, and the United States Air Force had just bombed the city just before we crossed it, and the whole town was aflame. And there was just enough room for us and our trucks and artillery to go down the main street, and all the buildings on each side were aflame and burning. And we just barely made it through there. And then's when things after that, things slowed down, because we were concentrating mostly on Germans. And
So most of the really tough fighting at that point was probably a little farther north, wasn't it?
yeah, well, it was with the Battle of the Bulge and so forth. That's where the biggest part, was. See, Patton and our outfit was more or less trying to control any more fluctuation of German troops up there to help their Germans, see?
Okay.
We were trying to hold them down here and push them. So that's what it amounts to.
Did you ever run across any of the Hitler Youth, some of the younger soldiers? I'd heard that they were some of the toughest fighters when you crossed into Germany.
I've heard about them. When you talk about young ones, the only young ones I remember was the young kids with no arms, no legs, coming up to us and wanting food, and here we had practically nothing ourselves. We were given 3 small cans of soup until such a time when we could maybe get more food. And I also have eaten stuff out of some of the gardens that some of these people had, like carrots and so forth. I would eat. In fact, one time, it was so bad and I was so hungry because I had been sick for a whole week. I got tourmaline poisoning and I was laid down for a whole week. I couldn't even drink the water without bringing it up. Finally, when I did feel good enough and started out scouting around, I come upon a farmhouse that had a chicken coop all closed up with a bunch of chicken in it, but nobody there. I took one of the chickens and cooked it, ate it. That's how hungry I was.
Or the best tasting chicken you ever had.
Tastes all right.
Yeah.
Did people offer you food?
Yeah,
Civilians?
they didn't offer food because they didn't have it themselves. Well, you had to scrounge for yourself.
After you cracked the back of the German army in Italy, did the Italian people welcome you?
Yeah, there was a lot of them that did, yeah.
Okay. What about in Germany when you went into there? Did they actually welcome you or fear you or
No,
fight
not
you, or-
necessarily. The only one person that came up to me after, of course now, right after the war ended, in the Black Forest. You've heard of the Black Forest? The war ended and we went into this Black Forest looking for the German soldiers to have them surrender.
Right.
Well, I and my buddy brought out 13. 13 of them put their arms down and came out with us. 3 of them were women. 3 of them were women soldiers.
Wow.
German. And after that, they all started coming in and giving up.
I never heard that. I knew that the old men and the young boys were fighting at that.
Well,
I never
there
realized that
there
women.
was 3 German women dressed in uniforms,
Wow.
but they all came out peacefully and we marched them to the holding area.
I'm really surprised by some of your stories there. I always figured the American Army was well fed and well equipped, but it sounds like you had some pretty tough problems with the supplies for a
We
while.
did. There was times when we camouflaged our outfit with trees and so forth because we didn't have the ammunition. We had to wait for it.
Oh my.
So we had to cover it up, camouflage things so the Germans wouldn't see it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I wanted to show you something. Maybe you don't want to see it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
If you have it, we sure do.
Well, this is pretty old. I've had this for 50 years in my, whatchamacallit. That, if you can read it, maybe it don't come up here. The camp, or the places that I fought. I don't know, maybe it's too small to read.
Oh my. Is there any way we can get in on that? Back a little bit.
Go back a little farther. So that's good. That's tough. Can you read them off?
With my other glasses, I could. Yeah, can you see if you can read them?
Well, it's supposed to say 5 battles.
Listed record and report of separation, honorable discharge. Robeton Frank,
Robeton.
PFC, PA, AUS Army, Headquarters, Battery 103rd Division Artillery, 24 September 45, Camp Atterbury, Indiana, 2407 Cedar Street, Anderson, Indiana, 5 February 21, Anderson, Indiana. Talks about his hair color brown, eyes brown, height 6 feet 1 inch. Date of service 29 July 42. Fort Benjamin Harris, Indiana. Battles and campaigns: Naples, Foggy, Rome, Arno, North Apennines, Rhineland, Central Europe. Citations: Fame Theater Ribbon with 5 bronze stars
5 bronze stars.
per WD CO E 345 Good Conduct Ribbon per company number 2, Headquarters 194 FA Battalion /45 Bronze Star Medal, see Section 3, Company Fort number 44, headquarters, 6th Army, 45. None, wounds, says none. And it's awful hard to see. It talks about his shot record. And then it talks about where he'll get out at AR 615, 365, Convention of the Government, demolition, RR1-1, 5th December 46, I think that's it.
Well, did it say on there about marksmanship? Expert marksmanship? I also got that. Carbine expert.
It says carbine expert,
Yeah.
lineman, telephone, and telegraph, 238.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Did you have to use it much? The marksmanship?
Well, not too much, but you used it when you had to.
Yeah. That was-
Very impressive.
Yes, it is. Extremely impressive. I don't know if you can get the back side of that or not. Let me see if I can put it on the clipboard so it's a little flatter.
Got it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Frank. That is a great record.
It's
So you're at Ober-Ammergau, and from there, you went home from there? Or?
yeah, that by them giving me that star, it gave me more points, and that's one of the things that my fellows around me didn't like too well, because that gave me enough points to go home right now, and they had to wait.
Oh,
See?
okay. I didn't realize that's the way it worked. I knew in the Air Corps, the number of flights you had made a difference, but I didn't know that the citations and medals.
Yeah,
Give
the
you extra
medal, yeah,
credit.
the medal made a difference, yeah. Oh, maybe you want to see the character.
Wow. Let's see if we can flatten them out a little bit. This is at Anzio.
Okay, tilt it toward me a little more, get the glare on.
Okay.
And I need for you to go back just a tad, away from me.
Take the clip on back, so
Yeah.
Clipboard back.
keep it straight up in the air.
And tilt it toward me a little more.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, you got another one there?
That's and you're in front of a house that looks like it's not in the best shape. I take it that too is at Anzio?
Okay, tilt it back toward me a little more. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And what is this?
That's a German half track there in Italy.
It's a German half track. That's it.
Got it? Okay, I'm running out of tape here.
Okay. All right.
The mail, we had a company clerk that was really something. I mean, just like I had a German rifle right after the war. I had a German rifle that I wanted to send home. Sure enough, he got it and he sent it home. I got a German or a Leica camera,
Yeah.
one of these old-time Leica cameras from one of those German soldiers, as I say, we brought in. And I got that at home, and that thing is old, I know it. And I was told at the time that it was, the guy said that he got it from a German or a Russian soldier in Russia.
That's kind of poetic
So-
justice.
So the thing is, that thing's been around.
Well, your father was not Russian, but he was from that part of the
Yeah,
country, and
yeah.
so it wound up getting back into
Yeah.
Into your
So,
hands.
It's just,
That's great.
well,
All right, so you came home. How'd you get home? What route did you take to get home?
well, we went to, they took and brought us up to Le Havre,
Okay.
France, and there was where we got a boat.
Probably took a train.
Yeah, a train from what'd I just say?
Oberammergau?
Oberammergau, yeah. And to Le Havre, France, took a boat and went and landed in Fort Dix in New Jersey. And
Was this another troop transport?
yeah, the troop transport took us all the way to the United States, to Fort Dix.
Okay.
At Fort Dix, and they served us a meal that night. First good meal we've had in ages. Guess what happened? I got sick.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got sick. I mean, I got so sick, and then we were supposed to move out the next day
Yeah.
to go to be discharged.
Yeah.
And oh, I was sick all night, something terrible. The food was just too good for me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. And then later years here, I have ended up with an ulcer, stomach ulcer, which I have to be careful of what I eat.
You think that's because of the way you were fed during the war?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because I had problems after that.
So from Fort Dix, you went back to Indiana? or-
Back to Indiana to one that just closed, not too long.
Atterbury?
Yeah, Atterbury.
Okay.
Yeah, from Atterbury, then I went home.
Wow. So you came home.
Yeah.
Tell me about the reception when you got home.
Well, when I got home, at that time I belonged to the Eagles Lodge.
Right.
Before I went to the service, I was a member of the Eagles Lodge, and of course my dad was a bartender there.
Right.
And when I first came home, I got out of the taxi cab, which I had him drive me uptown to where the Eagles Lodge is. And I come to the door there, and there stood my brother, my not youngest, but middle brother. Well, what the heck you doing back here? I said, well, I served my time. And that's about all it was, because see, my mother died when I was overseas. She died in 1944 when I was overseas. I got a letter
Oh, yeah.
from one of my brothers about it, and
That had to be
I
tough.
must admit, I poured a lot of rain.
Yeah.
It really hurt. It really hurt.
Well, she didn't think she'd see you come back, and then
Well,
just the opposite happened. I didn't expect
she
that.
was, I guess she took ill for quite some time, and they told me later that in order not to hurt me, my feelings, that I was not to say anything about her illness or anything. So, well, that's life, one thing after another.
How was your dad?
Well, he's been going since '67.
Okay.
Well,
So, you had quite an adventure there.
it is. It's quite an adventure, yeah, and
So after you got back, you went back to work at Warner Press or Press
after
Patrol?
considerable time, I didn't go back until at least 2 months.
Okay.
Because I I felt like I needed a vacation or something to adjust myself. And I recall the second day that I came home and was walking to town, and some guy blew his horn on his car real loud, and I hit the pavement right now.
Oh my.
I thought it was a shell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reaction. Yeah, I hit that daggone pavement, and my knees really hurt. It just shows you what something like that will do to you. It messes you up.
I've heard of fellows who have said that a car would backfire or something. And
Yeah.
you could always tell the GIs.
Yeah, it scares the daylights out of you.
When did you get married?
Well, I got married in 1920. No. 1948.
1948.
Yeah.
Okay. And who did you marry?
Married Clarice Ann Barn.
Okay.
Barn.
And you have children by that marriage?
Yeah, I had 3 child. I got two daughters and 1 boy.
Okay. What are their names?
Well, one's Nancy, which is the oldest, and Janice, and then Glenn.
Well,
So I guess I made a little bit of a trip.
do you think the war changed you?
Well, definitely. Yeah, it made me move closer to Jesus. It just proves how much love this world needs. You can't live in hatred and do wrong things because there's no happiness there. You gotta continually strive to do the will of God. You got a choice. Make the right choice.
Well, before we close out, do you fellows have any more questions for Frank? Getting pretty well answered. Well, what are your closing words for posterity? What would you like the world to know?
Well, I would like very much for the second coming of Jesus Christ, which we need very much. And knowing the situation that exists in this world right now, we need love tremendously through Jesus.
Well, Frank, you were a great influence in my young life, and it's been a real honor to know you as a friend, and it's especially a great honor to thank you for your service to our country.
Well, I just wish that a lot of people would try to understand what so many men and women have done for their country, sacrifices and so forth, in order for them to have freedom.
Well, what you've done here has gone a long way to telling people.
Well, I hope it does. I hope it does, that we only have one master, Lord Jesus.